text I have for you this morning is found in Psalms 50, verse 15. Call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. Well, how do we glorify God? How is it that we glorify God? How is it you glorify mom and dad? You know, making them so they can bless you and do things for you. Glorify. It's kind of a tough word, huh? Well, what glorifies God, what we do that glorifies God is when we're obedient. Have you ever been disobedient? None of these folks have been disobedient. We got some good kids here. Well, when I was about your age, how old were you? 10? I probably was about 9, just a little bit younger. But every Sabbath, we would go visit a woman that had polio. And so she was in a wheelchair. Ever since she was 4 years old, you know, she could walk, run, play, do all kinds of good things. And then when she turned 4, she lost the use of her legs and one of her arms. And one arm was okay. The other one, not so good. And the fingers didn't work properly. But she could take her fingers, even though they were deformed, and she could make her wheelchair go back and forth. And out in front of her house, when we would go and visit her, my mom would go over and do some things for her on Sabbath to make her life easier. And she had a beautiful flower garden with these kind of flowers in it. Now, I don't know about you. Did your mom or dad say, don't ever stick anything to your mouth that is not food? Yeah, some of you have. Well, unfortunately, this young lady had out in her garden some of these beautiful flowers. And I liked looking at them. But the more I looked, the more that little thing inside that was yellow reminded me of a little corn cob. And I thought, aha, I know where they come from. Those little tiny corn cobs. You ever eat a little tiny corn cob? Little tiny corn, little miniature corn? No. Well, I thought, that's gotta be good food. I know where they get them now, so I popped them off, and I just started helping myself and eating them. The minutes went by, the hours went by. I'm out with my brother, and we're looking at other flowers and catching bees and catching butterflies. And all of a sudden, I started feeling really, really sick. I started feeling rotten. My mom came out of the house, time to go home. And my brother said, you know what Steve did? He ate a bunch of those yellow things. And my mom turned around in the car and she looked at me and said, did you eat a bunch of those yellow things? And I said, yes. She said, how do you feel? I said, Mom, I feel bad. I feel sick. Now, you know, they didn't have cell phones back then that you could, you know, ask if it was dangerous or not, call the poison center or whatever. But my mom said we better pray. So we called upon Jesus and asked him to help my stomach get better and to remind me not to just put things in my mouth that I thought were good for food. My mom and dad had shared with me that sticking things in your mouth that haven't been provided by you, by a trusting person like your grandma, your grandpa, your mother, your father, it's best not to put them in your mouth, chew them up and swallow them because it could make you very, very ill or even dead. Okay, fast forward. Now, I'm married, I've got kids, I have 4 beautiful children. We live in a little farm town. And my wife took my children to a neighbor's house, and they had some beautiful flowers there. Now, their father and mother had taught them the same things. You don't put things into your mouth. But their father had shown them a flower that was safe to suck the succulent, sweet stuff out of, that nectar out of. And my kids thought those flowers look like the ones Dad said were good for nectar. And so they started sucking them. They started eating them. And when the woman came out of her house and saw my kids were eating this poisonous plant, they called up the hospital right away, and they got ready for 4 kids to come in just ASAP to the emergency room. And they were preparing to have their stomachs pumped. My wife's a nurse, so she stopped by a pharmacy real quick and got some Epicac and made the kids all drink Epicac. Are you familiar with Epicac? Yeah, you don't want to be too familiar with that unless you have to. It's a good thing. It helps you get rid of everything in your stomach. And so before they even got to the emergency room, my wife pulled over to the side of the road, and 4 little kids were out there just heaving their stomachs out, just cleaning them, cleansing them. Now, my wife did something that she didn't want to do, but she needed to do to preserve our kids. And you know what? After that, our kids didn't do anything anymore unless Mom or Dad or they knew it was safe to eat. So to me, if you ever get into trouble, whether it's something you did by accident or something on purpose, call upon God in the day of your trouble.